So then with future updates of the report, in BC we've also gone a completely different way than the rest of the country. In Ontario they have classes of reserve fund studies. They do a class 1, a class 2, and a class 3. So you get the full reserve fund study done in year 0, and then you get bench updates done in the following years, and then they come back in the 5th year and do the full soup to nuts again, right? In BC, we've eliminated all of the bench review stuff, and we just do every 3 years. I think what they were trying to get in the legislation is balance costs versus the practicality of coming to the site and gauging conditions on a regular basis. So when they do come out for your renewal, what they'll do is they'll update the costs, move the model forward 3 years, take into account any expenditures that you guys have had over the last 3 years, and then give you guys a new 5-year window to look at. And that's kind of what Sean's will talk about. I'm going to talk about that 30-year projections are a little bit short-sighted in the fact that if you could do an accurate 30-year projection, we'd all be billionaires. We wouldn't need to be here doing this because interest rates are highly variable, inflation rates are highly variable, construction costs are highly variable. If you're trying to get a roof done and you're in the middle of a cycle on oil, the roof is going to be considerably more expensive just because of the cost of oil. So we need to be looking more at 5 and 10-year windows rather than the stuff that's outlying at 30 and 35 years. Is this me?
Sure, it can be both. I'll take over. You've done a lot of talking. How about I give you a break? So how it works with annual maintenance, I touched on this before. What we're gonna talk about is how to interpret a depreciation plan and then what to do. And one of the key points we want to make here is you want to work with them together. So you want to sit down at the beginning of your year and you want to say, okay, our annual maintenance list looks like this. We're going to get the windows cleaned in March. We're going to get the parquet cleaned in February. And then you want to look at your depreciation report and say, okay, what do we need to do this year for these large capital items? Unfortunately, sometimes we see that you don't want your windows cleaned and then have your windows replaced 8 months later. That doesn't make sense. And unfortunately, it happens a lot. The sump pump pits get drained, and then 8 months later, you have to replace the sump pits, or the pumps that are in the pits. So really what you want to do is you sit down for the year, make a plan on what your maintenance is going to be, your annual maintenance, and then you want to look at your depreciation report and say what you've got coming up. And you want to work at those together because it really can save you a lot of money in the long run by being effective with your money. So also, did you touch on the depreciation report? The depreciation report really doesn't include any maintenance that's under $2,500. So if it's going to be some caulking around the front door and it's going to be $300, that's not part of the depreciation report. That again would be part of your maintenance plan, where you're going to say it's going to be your annual maintenance or just some small items that you're going to do that would be incorporated into your budget. So we're talking about 2 different documents and how they work together, and we're going to touch base on a little more on that and how that works. Maintenance is so important, but you can also over-maintain an item. So if you have your boiler checked quarterly, which might be great, but if you have your boiler checked weekly, you're probably not going to get your boiler's not going to last that much longer by having it checked that much more often. So it really is a gauge of working with the manufacturers, working with the trades that you're doing it, that are servicing your property and trying to find that balance where you're not spending a bunch of money when you don't need to, you're not going to see that return. I'm just going to go back, Rick, a little bit. Effective age. So the effective age is when it runs out. Sometimes the effective age is already gone, and strata corporations don't realize it. So what they're doing is they end up spending a lot of time and money repairing holes in a roof. Every year, we're doing $20,000 or $30,000 on the roof. Okay, the roof is done. The roof really needs to be replaced, and maybe it's only $200,000 to do the roof, but because you've been patching it for the last 10 years, even though its effective life is gone, it's cost you a lot more, and you still have an old roof at the end of the day. So a lot of times when you get these repairs, and you're like, oh, we're doing the same PRV valve again, you need to take a step back and go, wait a second, they're all come to the end of their life. Let's not just a patchwork as it comes up. Let's put a plan together to replace all of them. It's going to save you a lot of money. So sometimes it's hard when you're getting quotes, but sometimes you got to just take that step back and just say, in the bigger picture, what does this look like?